I don't know why, but my computer decided to not record my entire thing last night. So it's very late, but I'm gonna do my video now just because I'm in the mood. You know when you're just in that mood. I got excited yesterday because I went into the Works, which is a bookshop on my high street, and they had buy one get one free on what they called the greatest novels of all time, and I thought I'd have a look, see what had made the list and everything, and I actually bought 2 books. I said I wouldn't buy any more before I went to uni, but I caved, and I'm just going to talk you through them and why I've bought them. I've read both of them before, and I'm just going to talk. Okay. First, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I love this book, mainly because I see a lot of myself in it. The 2 sides to someone's personality, and literally the way that some people do let one personality trait rule them. It's very clever the way they've done it, and it was just very different for the time that it was written as well. Like when science was becoming fact and not so much about magic and religion, but it was still including that thing of fantasy, which is fascinating really. Plus it's led to so many different canon things. It's such a good story, and I completely agree with the fact that this was included in their list. If you don't know what it's about, why? But it's basically a doctor of science who when he creates this elixir, turns into this big brute, a beast, and terrorises the city. I've already talked to you about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I also was going to talk to you about Alice in Wonderland. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. A lot of you will know the story for this. It's very famous, mainly because of Disney and then Tim Burton. I do love Tim Burton. I mean, Sweeney Todd is amazing. I love the whole Charlie and the Chocolate Factory thing, but I just didn't like Alice in Wonderland. But I digress. The book. Like I said last night, I have read this before, and I have actually had a copy of this before, and I lent it to a friend, and they just didn't give it back. But I don't even know what it is. It's just the quirkiness of it and how absurd. I like how absurd the story is. With someone who loves fantasy as much as I do, the fact that this was written in, I think, like the very, very early 1900s, for someone to be talking about these strange things, it was a social taboo to be able to talk about these such weird things with such confidence and comfort. No, yeah, the quirkiness and the absurdity of this book, while also showing the fun of it as well, makes it very entertaining to read. Some people have made links to drugs with it, like saying it's all about LSD or being on acid and getting high, and that's why she's seeing all these things. But to me, I see it as the imagination of a child. I don't know. I might be a little naive by thinking it is just the innocence of a child's imagination, but it seems a lot nicer that way. Because I think, well, to me, that's what it was intended to be. I don't really think Lewis Carroll thought about the whole drug reference thing. It's like these things you see on the internet about all the Winnie the Pooh characters being on different drugs, or like I saw one thing about the Rugrats being like none of them exist and they were all Angelica's imagination and stuff about all these babies that never were, and it was quite depressing. I thought, why can't it just be a group of babies that actually have these adventures in their head, or why can't it just be toys that have different personalities inside Christopher Robin's head? It's just people try and add too much to things, I think. They try and add meaning to things when there are certain things that just don't have meaning. They really are just for fun, to entertain. to be weird and bah. And I think it's one thing that we do wrong. Add meaning to things that don't necessarily need meaning. And for someone who studied English, that's becoming quite apparent. I know a lot of people think, when you read a poem, it's like, oh, the author meant this by using this simile, blah, blah, blah. They didn't. They probably just wrote it because it sounded nice. I'm off out drinking tonight to celebrate my last venture in this area. I might record something a little bit tomorrow if I'm hungover and give you a treat of my beautiful, beautiful face. Thermal. Another one of my favourite places in the kitchen, the fridge. Chocolate craze. I just thought I'd add in on the end, because this is my last video before I move. Next week I'll be living in my student flat in Sheffield. Don't worry, my video will still be on time, I promise, but I'm very excited, so I literally may be bouncing off the walls when I do it. In my last few days in Huntingdon, I'm going to see some friends, I'm going to spend some time with my godson Dylan, and I'm going to see my dad as well because he's going on holiday. It's going to be a nice, cool, relaxing few days, a few mental hours of packing, and then my move up to Sheffield. Thanks again for subscribing, thanks for commenting, thanks for watching, and thank you for telling your friends to watch Hudson 1712. I remember